are you doing in my swamp? What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Overboy, and I'm going to be doing my top 10 favorite animated movies of the 2010s. Like yesterday's video, I had done my top 10 favorite horror movies of the last decade. This one is another one I've been wanting to do for quite some time. It's taken me a while to get to do this one because of having to move and everything. But I wanted to do that. I've been wanting to do this video for quite some time now, and so I'm going to go ahead and get this one done. So starting out at number 10 is Dr. Seuss's The Grinch. I really like this movie quite a bit. When I heard that Illumination was going to be remaking The Grinch, I groaned really bad. I really did not want to see this movie. I thought it was going to be really terrible because I'm not really that huge on Illumination. I think some of their movies are okay, but they're just, to me, they're the weakest out of all the big, well, actually second weakest, but after Sony Pictures Animation, but like out of all the big animated studios around nowadays, they're the weakest ones, at least out of the American studios for sure. And I thought The Grinch was going to be a terrible movie, and then I ended up going to see it because a friend wanted me to review it on my channel, and as I said in my review when this first came out, this movie totally surprised me. I thought it was a blast from start to finish. I love that they, like, even though The Grinch was, the story is the same and everything, they make him relatable, and they make it, they just make it work really well. I think that it was a really good movie. I personally like the Jim Carrey one better, the live action one, but I thought this one was still a really good movie, a really good animated version of The Grinch. Personally, I'd rather watch this one than the original version. I know a lot of people would say I'm crazy for that, but I just really love this one. The animation was really good, and Benedict Cumberbatch did a great job doing the voice of the Grinch, and the writing was really good. They made him really relatable, and it was just a really, really good movie. So Dr. Seuss's The Grinch is number 10, and number 9 is Rise of the Guardians. I debated whether to put this one or How to Train a Dragon on here out of the DreamWorks animation movies, and I think I like this movie a little bit more. It's a really fun movie. It's kind of one of those movies that, as a kid, I think I would have enjoyed even more, because you got it's kind of like an Avengers style movie where it's the Sandman, Santa Claus, Tooth Fairy, Easter Bunny, and Jack Frost. They're all teaming up and having to fight the Boogeyman, and I think this is something that would have been even more awesome to witness as a kid. I think I would have loved it even more back then. But this movie really surprised me at how good it was. I was really impressed with the animation, and the voice cast was all great in here, especially Chris Pine as Jack Frost. I thought he was really good, and I really liked Hugh Jackman as the Easter Bunny. I thought he was hilarious, and Jude Law did a really good job voicing the Boogeyman, which I think in the movie his name is Pitch Black, and they call him Pitch, but I thought he was really good too, and I just really, really enjoyed Rise of the Guardians. I thought it was a really good movie, very underrated movie from DreamWorks Animation. It's probably their most underrated movie of the decade, and they actually did have quite a few good movies that were underrated in the last decade, but this one I think was their most underrated. It was one that I would have loved to see become a film series and everything. I thought it was just a really good movie. So Rise of the Guardians is number 9, and number 8 is Phineas and Ferb the movie, Across the Second Dimension. I remember when this movie came out, I was like really, really into Phineas and Ferb. I think it was kind of like at the height of its popularity. I had gotten cable for the first time, where I actually had cable all the time. I didn't have to go to someone else's house to watch it and everything. So I would watch Phineas and Ferb every week, and I watched the reruns almost daily. So I was like really, really excited for this movie, and it did not disappoint me. I absolutely loved this movie. I thought it was a fun blast from start to finish, and I haven't rewatched it in a while, but I used to watch it a lot when I first got it. I recorded it and watched my video many times. I watched it many times when they replayed it on Disney Channel, and I've watched it many times since I've gotten it on DVD. I just absolutely love this movie. I thought it was a really, really great movie, and I can't wait to see the new Phineas and Ferb movie that's going to be on Disney Plus. I think it's supposed to be out next month. I can't wait to see that too. I'll probably end up reviewing this one before I do, but I just absolutely love Phineas and Ferb, the movie Across the Second Dimension. It's a really, really good movie, and I think the second Phineas and Ferb movie is going to have a lot to live up to and everything, but I'm still looking forward to seeing what happens in that one. But so that's number 8, and number 7 is the Peanuts movie. Like with Phineas and Ferb, I've been a huge fan of the Peanuts, except I've been a fan of them my entire life. I used to watch the animated Christmas and Halloween and all the holiday specials. I mean, I think every kid did. But I've always loved Peanuts. I've loved like all the other movies. I've seen all the other ones. My favorite one especially, Snoopy Come Home. But the Peanuts movie was just a really, really good movie. When I first saw the trailers and stuff, I was kind of eerie about it, because I didn't really like that they were making it computer animated and everything. But then when I saw the movie and saw how, like, even though it's computer animated, it still feels like a Peanuts movie. Like, it's like they took the hand-drawn animation and put it in a computer, and I thought it just looked really, really good, and it didn't feel like it was disrespectful to the source material, like another animated movie that came out this year called Scoob. I felt like this movie really honored its past and was done just very, very well. I really love the Peanuts movie. I thought it was a really, really great movie. Unfortunately, I've only seen this one once. This is one of the movies on here that I actually haven't rewatched. I need to rewatch it because I haven't seen it since it first came out. So I'll probably be reviewing it here before too long. I'm going to review all 5 Peanuts movies eventually. So when I do, that will be one of the ones I do. But I absolutely love the Peanuts movie. So it's number 7. And number 6 is Sausage Party. Now, this movie is just absolutely stupid in the best way possible. It's like really, really dumb and everything, but it is so hilarious. That the humor, it's not for everybody, obviously, but I love the humor in this movie. It just, the raunchy craziness of it was just awesome. There was some stuff in it that I thought was a little overboard and over the top, like the scenes where they had the big orgy at the end of the movie. That was kind of weird, but I mean, most of the movie was weird. But also, as a fan, I'm a big fan of Seth Rogen, so I kind of knew what to expect with this movie and everything, and it just was absolutely bonkers and hilarious. I love the song that Alan Menken did for this movie, which if you listen to this and then think about like how he's done so many great Disney songs for Disney movies, it's like really, really crazy and everything. And this is just an absolutely hilarious movie. I just loved it from start to finish, and it's another one that I really, really like a lot. So Sausage Party is number 6, and number 5 is The Red Turtle. I think this movie was really, really underrated. I don't exactly know how good it did. I mean, I know it did good critically and everything, but I don't know if it was like a big hit here in America. But I don't think it was. But this movie is just really great, and kind of like with Wall-E, it doesn't hardly have any dialogue in it, except Wall-E has more dialogue in this movie. But this movie, I think there might be maybe a teeny tiny bit of dialogue, but for the most part it's just a silent story. It's really, really well told. The animation is stunningly beautiful, and this was just one of those movies that when I first heard about it, I was like, I got to see it, because it is, for some reason, it just really sparked my interest and stuff. And I finally got to see it about a year ago, and I just absolutely loved it. This is another one that I don't own yet, that I'm gonna get it, and I'll probably be rewatching it many times. But I absolutely love The Red Turtle, and if you haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend it, especially if you love animation. This is definitely one that I would definitely recommend checking out. So The Red Turtle is number 5, and number 4 is Shrek Forever After. This was the last movie in the Shrek franchise. I mean, well, unless you count Puss in Boots, which was a spin-off, but like out of the main Shrek movies, this was the last one. And I know a lot of people didn't like this movie. I don't fully get why. Maybe it wasn't quite as funny as the first two, but it's still, to me, it was a big step up from Shrek the Third, which I still thought was also a decent movie. But I thought Shrek Forever After was a lot better than Shrek the Third, and to me, I think it was just a really, really good movie. And part of it also, I think, has to do with the nostalgia. It, like, brought in a lot of nostalgia from the first Shrek movie and everything, and also this movie kind of has a special place in my heart because of who I saw it with and everything. The first time I saw it, it's kind of a special reason I don't really want to talk about, but why, like, I saw this with somebody that I really cared about that's no longer with me, and so it kind of plays, it has like a special spot in my heart because of that too. And but I also just really did love this movie. I love like the It's a Wonderful Life aspect to it, where like Shrek is trying to get everybody to, or try to figure out how to make it where he'll go back into existence after Rumpelstiltskin messes with him. I love the alternate reality. All these characters we get to meet and everything in this alternate reality is really cool. And to me, it was just a really good movie. I think it was a lot better than most people said it was, and it was a fitting finale to Shrek at the time. I've heard that they are working on another one. I don't know if there ever will be another one, but keeping my fingers crossed. If you would have asked me back then, I wouldn't have wanted another Shrek movie, but after 10 years without these characters, I can't wait to get new movies with them if they ever do bring them back. I'd love to see more, but Shrek Forever After is, to me, just a really, really good movie, and it's number 4. Number 3 is Inside Out. I thought this was a really, really good movie from Pixar. Easily their best original movie of the decade, which they didn't have very many of. Aside from Brave and The Good Dinosaur and Coco, they were the only original animated movies released from Pixar that weren't sequels or anything, and I just absolutely loved it. And I thought this was a really great story. Pete Docter, who wrote and directed this movie, did a really great job. He's one that, anytime he does a movie with Pixar, I look forward to him, because he has a really, really good creative mind and everything. And I'm really looking forward to this new this new lineup of movies that he's going to be doing over the next 10 years, or however long he stays as the president of Pixar. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with the company and the directions he takes and everything, because don't get me wrong, I loved John Lasseter. I thought he was a really good filmmaker and stuff, and he did a lot of good stuff with the animated movies, but it seemed like when Pixar was bought by Disney, he put Pixar's original creativity on the back burner to work mainly for the main Disney animation studio. So I'm really curious to see what Pixar's new directions are going to be with Pete Docter as their president or CEO or whatever he is. And I can't wait to see Soul, because he's writing and directing that movie, and every movie he's done I've absolutely loved, because he's also the one that did Monsters Inc. and Up. So I'm really excited to see what he does next and everything. But I think Inside Out was just a really, really great movie. The emotions were great. Bing Bong, the death of Bing Bong was heartbreaking. I remember ugly crying in the theater when I saw it for the first time. And also just going into that movie, walking out, it felt like a therapy session I didn't know I needed. I know I'm not the only person that's felt that way. A lot of people I've known have said that was the best way to describe their feelings after seeing this movie. It's a really, really great movie, and easily one of the best of the decade. So Inside Out is number 3, and number 2 is Frozen. I had a lot of fun with this movie. It was probably the biggest animated movie of the decade. I remember when it came out, everybody was making a big deal about it. They played the songs on the radio, so before I even got to see the movie, I had kind of started hearing Let It Go all the time, so I kind of had it stuck in my head already from that. And then I can't remember where I was at. I was at a doctor's office or something, and they were playing Frozen up there, and it took forever. Like, I got to watch almost all of the movie up there that day. And then I rented it at the Redbox so I could see it all the way through, because I'd missed like the first 4 or 5 minutes of it, and I had missed the very end of it. So getting to see it in the theaters didn't happen. I was really disappointed about that, especially after renting it, because it took me forever to even get to see it, because it was rented out all the time. It took me, I think, at least 2 or 3 months to even get to see it, and then when I did, I just fell in love with it. I ended up buying it a couple weeks later when with my birthday money from my aunt, and I've watched it I don't know how many times over the last 6, almost 7 years since it came out. I just absolutely love Frozen. It's a really, really great movie, and even though I did like Frozen 2, I think that this one was the better one of the two, and it's just a really, really great animated movie, and the best Disney animated movie of the decade for me. Although I did like Wreck-It Ralph a lot as well, I had to go with this one. I just thought Frozen was really great. So Frozen is number 2. And before I do my number 1, I'd like to give some honorable mentions, because there were quite a few movies that I wanted to put on here that I wasn't able to. Most of them being Pixar movies, because I was trying to limit how many Pixar movies and Disney movies I put on here, because I didn't want to just put only them and everything. If I could probably do a list on my own of just animated Disney and Pixar movies. And I might do that sometime, but so for honorable mentions, pretty much all the Pixar movies of the last decade I could put on here especially, but the main ones I'm giving shout outs to are going to be Finding Dory, Coco, Incredibles 2, and Toy Story 3. I loved all of those movies quite a bit. Epic, one of the ones from Blue Sky Studios, and Ferdinand, I liked both of those movies quite a bit. To me, those were both really underrated. The Tale of the Princess Kaguya, that one was done by Studio Ghibli, and that was a really good one. Like I said, Wreck-It Ralph, Moana was really good. The Lego Movie, I really enjoyed that one. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Hotel Transylvania 1, I like both of those quite a bit. The first Despicable Me I liked quite a bit. Seeing Secret Life of Pets, I thought those were all pretty decent ones. I'm not a huge fan of Illumination Studios, like I mentioned before, but I thought those were all decent movies. And Penguins of Madagascar, I thought that was a really fun spin-off to the Madagascar franchise. And the How to Train Your Dragon movies, I've only seen the first two. I haven't seen the third one yet. That's on my to-watch list. But all of those are really good movies that I thought deserved a mention and everything, because I couldn't fit everything into the top 10 list. But coming in at number 1 is Toy Story 4. I just absolutely love Toy Story 4. I thought it was a really, really great movie. Really good sequel to Toy Story 3, which I thought was a great movie and would have been my number 1 of this decade if it wasn't for me liking the fourth movie just a little bit more. I really debated on which one to put on here. I almost just put Toy Story 2 and 3 as my number 1 favorite, because both of those movies were just really, really great. But I thought that Pixar gave us the 2 of the best movies of the decade, and they started the decade off with Toy Story 3 and ended it with Toy Story 4, which I thought was really a weird coincidence, but also a really cool one, because it brought things full circle. And Toy Story 4 was just absolutely a great movie. I loved it and everything. It was really, really worthy of being made. And I know a lot of people were like, this one's going to be nothing but a cash grab and it's going to tarnish the reputation of the franchise. And I'm like, I wouldn't run my mouth so fast, because the fact that Pixar wouldn't have done a Toy Story 4 if they didn't think it was worth telling. Now, Disney has been known to jump into doing sequels, whether they're worth it or not, and they've done tons of cash grab sequels, but Pixar has never been one to do that, except, although you could argue Cars 2 was kind of a cash grab. I mean, and Cars 3 kind of was too, but Cars 3 to me was more to make up for Cars 2, which, to be honest, because I didn't really like Cars 2, I felt like Cars 3 was a true sequel to the first Cars movie, but that's a whole different, that's something else to talk about later. But I absolutely loved Toy Story 4. I thought it was really great. It was awesome getting to see Bo Peep back in the picture, and the ending and stuff was really fitting ending to the series. That maybe it didn't quite have the same emotional punch as the third one did in ways, but in ways to me it had just as much of an emotional punch, because it made me realize that more than likely there probably will not be a Toy Story 5 after this movie. I don't see how they could do it. I mean, I guess there's ways that they could, but I doubt they ever will do a fifth one. If they do, like with the fourth one, I'd welcome it, because I know Pixar won't make another Toy Story movie unless it's worth being told. But I did like Toy Story 4 quite a bit, and it's definitely my favorite animated movie of the decade. So let me know in the comments what your favorite animated movies of the 2010s are, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.